Hello and welcome to the Understanding Narcissists YouTube channel. This episode is going to be a little bit more dogmatic because it has to do more with my experience and the inevitable conclusion to me that narcissists are always hiding a great deal more than you see, and they're always just inconceivably bad in what they do. Now, when I say bad, I mean in the emotional sense. I don't really know to what extent narcissists are committing real crimes against people, property, violence, that kind of thing. But as far as the emotional abuse, which is enormous, that's what defines them and characterizes the wake of their path. That is something I've always found that really falls under what I call safe assumptions. And that I always find it very safe to assume that whatever you see with a narcissist and whatever you think you know is the tip of the iceberg. And it follows pretty naturally that if everything you see and the bad stuff, the really bad stuff that you find out over the years, sometimes over decades, that they've done what they believe and thinks they've really committed to other people, then you start to get a wary sense of, if that's what you see, and it was so hard to glean that information, maybe by freak accident, because it will happen on occasion, you'll see their true side and how ugly they are. Then you start to wonder, well, with all the bad things they do daily, what are the things that they're hiding from me? What are the things that they do everything in their power to make sure that I don't see? And just how bad are they? It's pretty staggering. I don't think you ever get to the bottom of it. Because one, they'll never tell you. And two, it's so difficult. They're so good at evading you. And really astute eyes from observing them and figuring out what it is they do. And what it is exactly that they do. And just how much they're hiding, how much left they have hiding that you're not going to know about. And I've always felt that from what you see and how much damage you see them doing, especially as time has gone on, I've always assumed there's just so much more you'll never know about. Because first of all, you know how to pray. Once you know how depraved they are and what depths they'll go to, how low they'll sink, it's really just a question of, well, how are they able to hide it? It really isn't a question of whether they've done it or not. Because you've seen it. And then once you've seen it, you know they've done more. There's no way. So there's really kind of a hierarchical relationship for their different explanations. Because once you start digging, they always have an explanation for something. And sometimes, they're reasonable. They will pick the less bad thing over the really bad thing. And then try to inch it back up to the not as bad thing. And then that's okay or that's good, as their explanations go. And naturally, as you dig deeper and deeper, you will inevitably run into their gut instinct and their gut reaction and their real belief that drives, I think, and excuses a lot of the chaos in their life, a lot of their really, really bad behavior, which is, it's somebody else's fault. It's not their fault. They had to do it because it's somebody else's fault. Now, we can look in take their point of view, and hey, I think they actually believe that. I think they feel that way. They're dependent. They can't admit it. They can't do anything on their own. It's not their fault. They're not responsible adults. They're not individuals in that sense. They can't sit and operate on their own. Now they can, but it's still in a limited sense, and it has to do with, it's always revolving around you or somebody else. They have to have that person that will support them and be their parent. But that set of safe assumptions, once you start along that path and that line of reasoning, then you start to kind of quiver a little bit because you realize, hey, you always knew all along that they were doing unspeakable things. And again, I'm not saying, I think they can do actual unspeakable things. I'm not saying it's something really dark and criminal, like underground black market type stuff, though I think they're absolutely capable of that. I don't know if that's really their domain, But they're certainly capable of it, and they certainly have no problem with doing it. That's the problem. They can excuse anything. They can excuse anything for themselves, for the sake of themselves and their fantasy. It's amazing what they can deny. We've all got that within us, but man, they've really taken that to a whole new level. They've really maximized that for their own sake, so that they can feel like they're somebody who they're just really not. And by definition, I mean that iceberg image I've kind of just given you, that doesn't make you a good person. So they're going to deny that as well. But it's true. You dig deeper and deeper, you uncover more evasive maneuvering, and passing the buck, trying to blame somebody else for it, and then having a totally different explanation. Because history changes a lot with narcissists. That's going to have to be a subject of a different video. But they rewrite history right and left when it's convenient for them, and they do so also try to crowd you out by doing so for others. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Like it if you do. Share it with somebody you think might benefit from it. Comment in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next edition. Bye.